So I'm Asa, and today I'm going to be going over the effects that a lack of sleep has on athletes, and more specifically, I am going to go over how a lack of sleep affects endurance athletes like runners, swimmers, or explosive sports like football, wrestling, basketball, just stuff like that. And then my visual is just statistics about however many hours of sleep you get a night, like your increased chance of injury or decrease. All right, and then, so imagine an athlete that has their biggest game of the year that day, and the night before they stayed up all night. They're not gonna perform very well, they're gonna be tired, their muscles aren't gonna be woken up. So actually, when you're performing, when your brain is half asleep, your reaction time can be affected the same way that alcohol would affect you. And my relevance towards this is, I've been an athlete my whole life, so I've played tired, I've practiced tired. I know how bad it sucks to practice when you're really tired. And then I also did a lot of research when finding my sources and everything on actual statistics on how it truly does affect you. And then for my first point, I have a lack of sleep impacts endurance athletes in different ways. Firstly, a lack of sleep causes runners to get exhausted faster. And in a study done by Z.K. Kagiz, an ambassador and trusted author of a study published in 2009 done by the PubMed National Library of Medicine. Male runners and volleyball players, they did a study on them and how lack of sleep affected them, and both of them with less sleep had a decreased time to exhaustion, which just means they get exhausted faster, and if you're out there performing, you're gonna be at a disadvantage to someone who has more sleep, because when you get exhausted faster, your body doesn't work as well. And then for my second point about endurance athletes is that it increases injury risk. So in a 2014 article by a Harvard professor and orthopedic surgeon, MD Milowiski, they did a study on 160 athletes that were grades 7 through 12, and the conclusion they came to is that athletes that got less than 8 hours of sleep a night, because technically for athletes, the spot you wanna hit is 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night, the ones who got less than 8 were 1.7 times more likely to get injured. And when you're going to perform and you're more likely to get injured, obviously that can put you out of season, but some injuries can make it so you can't play sports anymore. And then, so a lack of sleep also affects explosive sport athletes differently, and it can actually negatively affect their cognitive function, which is their brain and their reaction time and everything. And in a 2025 article by Vernon B. Williams, who is a sports neurologist, they did a study on athletes, and a lack of sleep actually made it so they had a lot slower of a reaction time. And with a sport like football or basketball, having a slow reaction time, stuff like that, when stuff happens so fast, even a split second can mean you lose. And then it also negatively affects your cardio. And in a 2023 article by Dr. Chavez, who is a postdoctoral associate at the University of Calgary, it impairs the heart's ability to pump blood efficiently, which means your muscles don't get oxygen, so they tire faster, and your cardio isn't as good, and when you're playing sports, you don't wanna get tired so fast. And with your blood not pumping efficiently, it can lead to high blood pressure and heart rate, which is, I mean, that goes beyond sports, that's your overall well-being. And then to wrap everything up, pretty much today I just went over how a lack of sleep can affect athletes differently, and I just went over how it can cause faster exhaustion, higher injury risk, affect your cognitive function and your cardio. And then, I mean, anytime you see an athlete looking tired or struggling on the field because they're tired, you guys can just keep this in mind. Thank you.